Good morning, it's May 1st, 2014. I'm standing here on the rim of the canyon on a daily walk. I was going to say jog, but I don't jog too often anymore, unless it's all downhill. Anyway, I'm going to just give you a little bit of a tour of the top of Cameo, of this top of this canyon wall right here, this ledge, plateau that overlooks the valley down below. And some have asked if we have any trails here at the mansion. Of course we have trails. Every pathway through the orchard can be called a trail. I'm at the bottom of the gala block, where you have 40 acres of galas. We have actually 235 acres of apples and 40 acres of cherries and 143 acres of grapes, which any guest is welcome to get up in the morning and or any time during the day and walk through our beautiful orchard and vineyard. The only caveat to that statement is it is owned by a company which I'm no longer aligned with. As long as you're respectful and are careful and observe common sense, you'll have no problems with the management. There are the caveat there takes into account that they do spray these orchards with organically approved FDA and Washington State Department of Agriculture chemicals, and but they're all organic. But while they're spraying, they do wear hazmat uniforms because some of them are toxic in the same day. If not toxic is not the right word, but they're obnoxious to the and dangerous to the respiratory system, and so they protect themselves that way, and as you would need to do as well. So whenever they're spraying, just stay away from those areas. Anyway, this is the trail that walks around the along the Walla Walla Valley. That pretty valley you see down below you that I'm panning in on, that valley was all underwater the year that we came here. There was a flood in the upper water regions that supply the water that runs from this river down into the Columbia River, which you can see barely on the horizon down there. And plus a heavy snowpack. When the water melted, it completely filled this valley down there with water. It was a flood that they haven't seen here for years, if ever. And the bridge that you come across as you come in here was so inundated with water, and the water was so deep that it was completely over the rails on the bridge, leaving the bridge, when it was all over and the waters receded, standing like a lone island. Both ramps, 50 feet of ramps on both ends, were washed out. The bridge was impacted with tons and tons of wood underneath it that rammed into the rails and the V-trusses and everything. Took forever to get it all out, but the bridge was standing undisturbed, undamaged, except for the ramps, which we had to repair and replace. So if you question whether the bridge can stand your little Toyota Hyundai or Honda coming across, rest assured you can cross safely. As you can see, I'm walking around. Here's some sagebrush. If you're from another area, you've never seen sagebrush, there it is. Cheatgrass right beside it. Lava rock. This area is about 2 or 3 feet of dirt on top of lava rock. In some places there's a lot less than that. When we came here, it looked like those hills across the road. And we just walked in there and found the flatter spots. The knolls were usually where the dirt was thin and the rocks that protruded through the soil. We pulled those out. We dug holes beneath them with cats, scrapers, pushed the rocks into those holes and pulled dirt back up on top, thus creating a fairly uniform and even seed bed in order to plant the trees, and tried to create at least 2 or 3 feet of soil on top of the rocks. Didn't always accomplish that, but that was our intent. We came here in 1996. We sold a farm in Altopia, Washington. A beautiful farm, circle irrigated operation. Don't ask me why I did it. It was one of those things they call midlife change of direction, I guess. And I thought I would come here and plant trees. It's a long story, but the short end of it is that we wound up over here, started building a house for my wife, and we had a major financial reversal when a partner decided he didn't want to do this thing with us. And so we stopped the house, and it wasn't for another 10 years that we got back and finished the house. Now, as a bed and breakfast, no longer is a family home. The size increased by 2,000 square feet by adding spaces up into the attics without changing the outside footprint. It's now 11,000 square feet. One of the other major projects we had when we bought this farm was in February. We had to plant it. We had to get water. We had to get leveled. We put a fence in down at the bottom of the canyon. You'll see that fence, maybe, if I close in here enough. Right down there you can see that fence. That fence was put in the very first year because there were herds of deer, that roamed this area. They wintered over down there where our current well is. And so deer raise havoc on young trees. In fact, the arborvitae in front of my house has been eaten up by deer. Why are there deer here now? Because if they don't attend to the fence, and it's 8 foot high, and deer cannot jump 8 feet. They can jump 6, but they can't clear 8. So you put an 8-inch fence in, and you don't have any deer. Supposedly. Well, so how come there's deer? Because breaks in the fence, breaches that they haven't fixed. But I got to tell you, it does a remarkable job keeping out the lions and tigers and the pumas. All these African animals that we see is so ravaging. You won't find any of them here, thanks to the good fence. And we planted all those acres that same year. Now it's matured 17 years later. Here's the fruit. Well, here's the fruit. See these little tiny buds are growing? And right there, little tiny apple just starting to grow. That's a Gala, by the way. We have Gala, Granny Smith, Pink Lady, Golden Delicious, Cameo, Red Delicious, and what else? Not Ginger Gold, but oh my gosh, can't think of the name of it. By the way, I did sell this orchard about a year ago, or about 3 years ago in 2009. It's now owned by John Hancock Insurance Company and managed by my former partners. Anyway, I think that's about all the time you're going to be interested in. I'm going to close this, invite you to come and walk the trails at Cameo Heights Mansion. Either the apples, the grapes, the cherries. We've got one identified as the top of the hill, and the cherries, a beautiful expansive view of the orchard, or the vineyard. And here, of course, again is a Walla Walla River Valley. We call this the Tuscan Hills of Tushy. Thank you for your time.